On January 13, 2026, former President Donald Trump took the stage at the Detroit Economic Club. It was a chilly winter morning, but the energy inside the venue was electric, with anticipation building for hours before his arrival. This wasn't just another campaign stop. For Trump, Michigan represents a battleground, a place where elections are won or lost and every appearance carries extra weight. The club is a big deal in Michigan, a place where CEOs, politicians, and community leaders gather to talk industry and jobs. It's where the future of Michigan's economy is often debated, and where national figures come to make their case. Trump's appearance drew a sold-out crowd, showing his continued influence. The room was packed with business leaders, local officials, and everyday citizens eager to hear what he had to say. People wanted to hear his take on the economy, especially in a state where auto jobs touch nearly every family. Michigan's identity is tied to the auto industry, and any changes in policy can ripple through communities statewide. Michigan is a swing state, and its voters can decide a close election. In recent years, the state has flipped between parties, making it a top priority for any presidential hopeful. By choosing Detroit, Trump aimed for the heart of America's manufacturing story. Detroit isn't just a city, it's a symbol of American resilience, innovation, and the challenges facing working families. He wanted to show he was listening to workers and business owners. By meeting with both groups, Trump tried to bridge the gap between the boardroom and the factory floor, promising to fight for their interests. Trump's day included a stop at the Ford factory in Dearborn, where the iconic F-150 pickup is made. The F-150 isn't just a truck, it's a symbol of American manufacturing might and a source of pride for Michigan workers. Touring the plant let him connect with blue-collar workers and send a message that he's on their side. He spoke with employees about their concerns, listened to their stories, and promised to protect their jobs from overseas competition. Cameras followed his every move, capturing moments for news and social media. Every handshake, every word was broadcast to millions, amplifying his message far beyond the factory walls. Trump's Detroit visit was about more than policy. It was about optics, symbolism, and reaching the people he needs to win. He wanted to be seen as a champion for Michigan, someone who understands the struggles and hopes of its people. The stage was set for a speech that would make waves beyond Michigan. As the lights dimmed and the crowd hushed, everyone knew this moment could shape the race for the White House and the future of the American Midwest. Trump wasted no time getting to his main point, launching straight into the heart of his message as soon as he took the stage in Detroit. He told the audience that America's economy was stronger and more resilient when he was in charge, drawing loud cheers from the crowd. Trump painted a picture of a nation on the rise, crediting his leadership for the economic momentum. Factories, he said, were humming with activity. Jobs were coming back to cities like Detroit, and he promised even greater prosperity if voters gave him another term in office. He described a vision where American manufacturing was once again the envy of the world. His message was clear and direct: bring back Trump, bring back jobs. He urged supporters to remember the economic growth and job creation that he claims defined his presidency. A big part of his speech focused on manufacturing, which he called the backbone of the American economy. Trump emphasized the importance of keeping factories open and workers employed, especially in places like Michigan. Trump praised Detroit and Dearborn workers for building what he called the world's best cars and trucks, highlighting their skill, dedication, and the proud tradition of American craftsmanship. He promised to protect these jobs from foreign competition by imposing more tariffs on imported cars, especially those coming from China and Mexico. Trump argued that these tariffs would level the playing field and keep American factories busy. Trump argued that tough trade policies would force companies to invest in American workers, rather than outsourcing jobs overseas. He said these measures would encourage companies to build and innovate at home. He also mentioned several other policy ideas designed to help working families and protect American interests. Media. Trump discussing policy at press conference. Trump at event with "No fraud" sign. Government officials at fraud hearing, cracking down on fraud, promising to root out waste and abuse in government programs, and capping credit card fees, which he said would put more money back in the pockets of everyday Americans, saying these moves would help families struggling with rising costs and make it easier for them to get by. He hinted at new plans for healthcare and housing, suggesting that more details would come soon. But he kept the spotlight firmly on jobs and factories throughout his speech. Trump repeatedly returned to the theme of American industry, promising to fight for every job and every worker in Michigan and beyond. Trump wanted to remind voters of what he calls the boom years before the pandemic, when, according to him, the economy was thriving and optimism was high. In a state so closely tied to the auto industry, these words carried real weight, even as some in the audience and beyond doubted his claims, questioning whether the promises would become reality this time around. Trump made big promises about the economy. He said job growth under his leadership was historic, and that he brought back American manufacturing. Trump declared that inflation had stopped and the cost of living was coming down. These statements drew applause from many in the room. Trump linked these promises to his past actions, tax cuts, trade deals, and tariffs. He claimed these policies made the country wealthier and more secure. Trump said new investments were pouring into Michigan, and factories were reopening. These promises painted a picture of an America where jobs are safe and the future looks bright. For people worried about layoffs or rising bills, hearing a candidate promise stability can be powerful, even if the reality is more complicated. After Trump's speech, fact-checkers got busy. Many of his claims about inflation, job growth, and manufacturing didn't match official data. For example, Trump said inflation had stopped, but government numbers show prices are still rising, just more slowly. Families in Michigan still feel the pinch at the grocery store and gas pump. He claimed prices for groceries and prescription drugs were falling rapidly, but economic reports say otherwise. Most key expenses for families, food, medicine, rent, are still going up. Trump talked about record job growth and factories reopening, but experts noted the overall trend is mixed. The auto industry faces competition from abroad and new technology like electric vehicles. Many jobs lost during previous downturns haven't returned, and some plants have closed. All this shows that political speeches need a close look, because what sounds good on stage isn't always true for real families. Later that day, Trump visited the Ford factory in Dearborn. The plant is known for making the F-150 pickup, a symbol of American strength. Trump met with workers, toured the assembly lines, and posed for photos, but the visit took a turn when a heckler shouted criticism about union rights and rising prices. Trump paused, then responded, "You see, this is what we're up against. People who don't want America to win." Security quickly escorted the heckler out, but the incident went viral online. The moment sparked debate about free speech and workplace conduct, showing how tense these campaign stops can get. The Ford heckler incident dominated headlines that evening. Local stations replayed the moment, while national networks debated what it meant for political discourse. Some commentators praised Trump for standing his ground. Others said he missed a chance to listen to worker concerns. Social media lit up with opinions. Hashtags like Talk Ford Heckler and Talk with Trump in Michigan trended for hours. Supporters shared clips of Trump's comeback, while opponents praised the heckler. The Detroit Free Press ran articles on the protests and the drama at Ford, interviewing workers and union leaders. Many said they were tired of political fights, but wanted leaders to focus on real solutions for Michigan's economy. Moments like the Ford incident become symbols, used by both sides to make their case about who listens to workers and who has the best plan for America's future. Trump's Detroit trip didn't happen in a vacuum. The city, with its storied past and ongoing transformation, set the stage for a visit that was about much more than just a single speech or event. Outside the venue, over 100 protesters gathered, their voices rising in chants and their signs calling attention to issues like immigration, union rights, and climate action. The crowd was a mix of longtime activists, union members, and concerned citizens, all united in their desire to be heard. Most of the demonstration remained peaceful, with police keeping a watchful eye. Still, the scene was a vivid reminder of how deeply divided Michigan is, especially when it comes to questions of trade, jobs, and who truly belongs in the American story. The tension was palpable, reflecting the broader national debate. Inside, Trump delivered a forceful speech, doubling down on tough immigration policies. He called for strict border controls, linking immigration to crime and job loss, and promising to protect American workers above all else. These messages resonated with some in the audience, drawing applause from supporters who feel left behind by economic change. But critics argue that such rhetoric stokes fear, scapegoats newcomers, and oversimplifies complex issues facing the region. The Midwest has always had a complicated relationship with change. For generations, families have built their lives around factories and steady jobs, holding tight to traditions even as the world shifts around them. Many families here can trace their roots back decades, sometimes even a century or more. Yet Michigan cities and factories have long depended on the energy and labor of immigrants and newcomers who bring fresh ideas and help keep local industries alive. Trump's words tapped into old anxieties about losing jobs to outsiders, echoing fears that have lingered for years. But they also ran up against a strong local pride in diversity, resilience, and the hard work that defines Detroit and the Midwest. This ongoing tension between honoring the past and embracing the future, between tradition and change, lies at the very heart of Midwest politics. It shapes every debate, every campaign, and every conversation about what comes next. Campaigns that truly understand this delicate balance can win big in the Midwest, but those that ignore it risk losing the trust of communities whose hard work and determination built America's industry, and who are still fighting for their place in its future. How did Michigan react to Trump's visit? Polls taken after showed a split state. About 47% of voters agreed with Trump's message on jobs and manufacturing. Almost as many didn't trust his economic numbers. Among union households, opinions were even more divided. Many said rising prices were their top concern, even if they liked Trump's talk about bringing jobs back. Others, especially in Detroit's immigrant communities, worried about harsh rhetoric and feared new crackdowns. In the wider Midwest, Trump's visit was seen as a test for both parties. For undecided voters, the Ford incident and protests were reminders of how high the stakes are. Michigan remains up for grabs, and everyone knows it could decide the next president. Trump's Detroit speech and factory visit were a preview of the 2026 election season. Every moment was aimed at winning over the voters who will decide the White House. By focusing on manufacturing, tariffs, and jobs, Trump spoke directly to Midwest families' worries. But by stretching the facts and facing public heckling, he raised questions about trust and leadership. The protests and divided polls prove Michigan's voters are paying attention and want real answers. In the end, this Detroit drama was about the struggle for America's economic soul and the fight for every vote in a state that could tip the balance of history.